Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. Help us get this going. Come and have a seat for a couple of minutes. We're here just because we want to find out what people want, what people have got to say. And actually, there was a bit of a conversation going on a little bit earlier on, or just now. I want to find out a little bit about that. It sounded kind of interesting. Let's just get your name. What's your name?
Susan.
Susan.
It's Susan.
Susan.
Yeah.
So Mikey, we've got Lynn, we've got Toby, and anything to start off with? Anything to get the ball rolling with? Toby, what were you talking about?
I was talking about the roundabout, and it looks nice,
yeah.
But the problem is that there's tons of jaywalking now, and there's accidents all the time. Yesterday there were 2 accidents on the roundabout. Yeah, of course, and they were massive tailbacks. I was just looking on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's a guy that lives in Perinet House that just kind of takes pictures of all the accidents that occur and tweets about them.
He's documenting the accidents.
Yeah, it's unsafe. I mean, it's and you can just watch people jaywalking the whole time because they got rid of the subways. I don't know why they got rid of the subways. Okay. If it was because to kick out the homeless people, possibly. It's not going to solve the problem.
Okay. So we're talking about Elephant and Castle roundabout. I guess the idea of the redesign was safety, but is it actually safe, or is it just made?
Are you sure it was safety? How do you know it was safety?
Well, I don't know.
Or was it aesthetics?
Okay, any
reason? Were we told the reason for the new development?
Yeah. Is it aesthetics? Why was Elephant and Castle redeveloped? We're talking about the roads and the roundabout. Lynn, have you got any thoughts on this?
I would have thought safety as well, because I know that for me, sometimes going under the underpass, I felt very nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
So especially as sort of like nighttime fell, it was something I would have preferred. I tried to avoid the tunnels.
Right.
Do you feel safe around here? That's what we're talking about at the moment. Susan, do you feel safe?
Well, since the change, I have preferred crossing the roads here because I didn't like the walkway underneath. I didn't like it, but I do prefer. I cross when the green man comes on, like my son does, and it's safe if you do it that way. If you jaywalk, it's dangerous, very dangerous, and I think air quality.
I think it's down to the pedestrians just not having enough respect for the traffic.
Possibly not having everyone's rushing. Possibly. Why would you jaywalk at a very busy junction like Elephant and Castle?
I mean, most of I don't know about pedestrian deaths. The daily accidents are usually bikes and motorcycles.
Right, okay, so it's the cyclists that are...
Well, and it's just, it's traffic accidents more than pedestrian accidents.
Right, okay.
So that's that.
Can I just say, do you feel less safe now that they've redesigned it?
You mean in terms of traffic or in terms of other things?
Well, just going through it, however you go, walking, cycling, driving, does it feel...
It's a difficult one. I cycle every day through the roundabout. I mean, I've been cycling in London for years, so I was never that worried about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, sure, it's nice to have bike lanes. Yeah.
You think it's better to have the bike lanes? Is it safer or is it just more convenient?
It depends from what perspective.
Yeah.
I walk my kids to school every morning, and the major problem is bikes rather than cars because they don't stop at the lights on the Walworth Road.
Maybe it's the cyclists that need to be a little bit more cautious.
Sure. Yeah. Courtesy.
Okay. So are you a cyclist? Come and have a seat for a couple of minutes. Anyone else a cyclist around here? Is Elephant and Castle now safer for cyclists? Hello. Hello, what's your name?
Fabio.
Fabio, Fabio is actually the cameraman.
But you go out and hustle some people. I'll have to go in a second.
All right. Well, before you go, give us a final thought. Let me just get. Are you a cyclist?
Yes, I cycle it every day. It's not safe, but it's a risk that in some cities, in some areas, you need to take in this situation.
Is that what you're saying?
Depends of the person, it depends of your trip, it depends of your point of view, but for sure we need safety roads for cyclists, and this is how I think looks like. There are more movement this time between cyclists, and there are more cyclists going to job, and it's now more difficult to use the car to go.
Yeah, so
it's harder to drive. So.
Is it harder to drive, easier to cycle now?
I don't drive in London, so I just hire a car. Okay? Like a lot of people that live around here, I don't own a car, right? Because a lot of people live around here don't own a car.
So I sometimes drive into Peckham, and it's 20 miles an hour, which helps, I think. The lower the speed, the more you're aware of cyclists and motorbikes, and so I think that's helped. It's a bit slow that time, but it's very congested most of the time. So you're usually going that speed.
Sort of saying that it's kind of necessary to be that slow. Is it?
I think I can understand why they did it. I mean, it's busy, it's congested, I think.
Okay. Are you off, Toby? Give us a final thought. Are you going to stay and
No, the only thing I wanted to say quickly is if anybody wants to talk about housing or anything like that, quickly. I mean, if it's going on camera, it's just extraordinary to be demolishing thousands of affordable houses and not replacing them. That's the only thing. I mean, it feels like a deliberate policy of cleansing. It's honestly what it feels like.
And who's being cleansed?
Lower income people.
Right.
It's obvious. They've now demolished something like 3,000 council flats in at Haygate and the Aylesbury combined, and they've replaced them on the new development with 79.
Right.
That's the answer. And the cheapest one-bed flat, I know about this because I check it out, is £550,000.
Right.
That is the cheapest thing that's offered. So it's just, I don't know what it's done for. If it's to raise revenues through taxes, I'm not sure what the reason is. But the problem is that the chat that says it's regeneration for the people of the area is bullshit, because it just results in a population shift. I can't see any other way around it. I mean, and there's lots of talk about building council houses, but it's not true. The stats don't bear it up. It's just a huge net loss of affordable. We've got a crisis of accommodation. 100% of the first wave of flats was sold abroad. 100% of them.
Right.
It was in the Evening Standard. The first release from Elephant Park, 100% sold abroad. Who's it helping?
Can I just ask, how many council houses do you think should be built where they've knocked down these sort of slopes? Can you give us a figure?
Well, they need to, I mean, we need more, not less, is the point. I mean, you've got to, why knock them down in the first place? And why not just replace like for like? I mean, it's very difficult. I'm sure they can't afford to, but this is not the way.
Right.
And it has a knock-on effect in every area, because you've got, I mean, the rents will just go up. The rents that are now being offered on the block behind here, they're kind of 4 times what was the local norm. So obviously, what's the result going to be? It's going to be what they call human resource transfer. It's a polite way of saying it. Yeah, that's the official terminology.
So more council houses rather than less. Cleansing of lower income people. And what's the other thing that you were saying?
Well, you've got a housing crisis where basically you've now got brain drain in London and people can't afford to live, and it's this is the talk of the country at the moment. So it really is. So
just here in Southwark, but it's not just the whole country.
It's certainly the whole city. It's certainly the whole city.
So people can't afford to live in London. Susan?
Well, I agree. People from overseas are buying these very expensive flats. What does it say to the local community? Like, there won't be people from, living, most probably renting out. But it'd be a whole population churn.
Okay. So anyone else want to say anything about this? Is there a... thanks very much. Thank you. We should give... Have we got any cards, Rick? Yeah. We should give a card. I've got a card. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Oh, yeah. So thanks very much, Toby. So there, come on. Come and see it. Help us warm this up, because this is the beginning of the day. We're warming this up. We're trying to see what the issues are. We've already heard a couple from our first punter of the day, which is, I think one's about safety and redesign and regeneration, but also there's a question of you know, who is that regeneration for, and is there an agenda to move lower income people out of the area? Toby certainly feels that there is. So these are some of the early doors questions. We've got Lynn, we've got Susan, and Mikey. What's your name?
I'm Nasmin, I work for Southwark Council. I'm not a resident, but I do obviously pass through the area. Seeing lots of change in terms of kind of employment and how that affects the borough. So with change comes new opportunities for work and things like that. Hopefully work for young people as well, and people involved in all types of trades and things.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Oh no, too late. You've got to put that invitation out there at the right moment. But hopefully the timing will improve. So what were you saying?
So I was talking about how change brings around new opportunities for people. So whether that's employment, business, chances to get involved in parts of the borough that they've perhaps not kind of engaged with before.
Yeah.
So just I think that's a positive thing. I don't know if anyone's got a different view on it, and if they'd like to see things as are, rather than.
Okay, so we're living in a city of constant change. That change brings opportunity. Are we taking advantage of that opportunity? Come and get involved. Come and have a seat. What do you think? What do you think is? Come and give us a couple of minutes. Give us a couple of minutes. So we've got Fabio, we've got Lynn, we've got Susan. Was it?
Nasmin.
Nasmin. It's Talkaoke, it's a pop-up talk show. We've got some people here from Southwark Council. They just want to find out what people think. And straight out of the gate, the first guy we had came on talking about, are we losing too many council houses? He was saying there should be more, and also this question about change. Nasmin, that's gone over there, has said, well, that change brings opportunity. But I don't know what you think. What's your name, first of all?
Mayoa.
What is it?
Mayoa.
Mayoa. We've got Susan, we've got Lynn, we've got Fabio and Mikey. Only if you're ready, but have you got a view on this? Do you think there is?
I've lived in Elephant and Castle for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I'm a student, so I go to LSE in Holborn.
All right, yeah.
Last year I lived in a house that was a council house.
Yeah.
It was owned by a private landlord.
Yeah.
And this year I live in a new build near Elephant Park. So I'm right on the cusp. I can see the very new side of Elephant Park, and then Walworth Road and the older kind of areas. I don't know, gentrification is an interesting one. It's a very emotive subject.
Yeah. Well, what do you feel about it? What emotions does it evoke to you?
I don't know. I think it is part of change, and it's hard. It's hard to develop like new areas without taking people out of them, just because prices are going to rise and they need newer infrastructure and stuff. And I have a lot of friends who used to live in Elephant and Castle when they were like young, maybe 4 years old, and they've moved out to Essex.
What do they think about it?
I don't know. I think they understand it's in Zone 1, so you know, if it wasn't, then it would be surprising. But it's in Zone 1, so it's kind of expected.
So you think it's to be expected for an area that's in Zone 1 to have this rapid change?
Yeah, to be honest.
This rise in rents.
Can I just ask you, do you go to the free swim and gym? Do you? Oh, okay. So for Southwark residents, it's free swim and gym. Yeah, you can go into the leisure centres for free from Friday to Sunday, or off-peak, is it, as well?
Yeah, Friday and after 2 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, so you access that? Yeah.
What do you think?
It's great. I was telling my mum, I'm not from London, I'm from Manchester.
Yeah. Is there a similar thing going on in Manchester in terms of like rents rising?
Rent rising, yeah, probably. Not where I live. It's not really reached there yet, and they won't for years.
Do they have zones in Manchester like that?
No, we don't. The centre's a lot smaller. It doesn't reach as far, and there's not as many young people that work, I guess, in the city and stuff. So yeah, it's not, gentrification isn't a massive problem, but it is in some areas. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about this idea? Because Nazmin mentioned that change actually brings opportunity and brings, I guess, there is an implication that it brings jobs or employment, better kinds of employment. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think that's the case? Do you think that? Do you kind of believe in that?
I don't know. I think there's always successes and failures with these projects. And I think it depends what they're going to bring here to attract people to live here and work here. And I think even all these big flats they're building in Elephant Park, I can see them being empty for a long time. Why? Because they need to have very high rents to make up the costs that they initially put into them. And I don't know if there's enough pull factors in Elephant and Castle yet, especially with the underground station.
Is there enough to bring people to Elephant and Castle? Rick, can I have another windshield? This one looks like it's been used to like dig a hole or something like that. Let's have a nice clean windshield for the new talk session. Sorry about that, but you know, it's putting me off. Let's get rid of that one. That can go in the bin, really. Have we got? This is go on.
So basically, this is Talkaoke. It's the people speak. So that's what we want to do. We want to get people who are coming through Elephant and Castle today, whether they live here, work here, have business here, or they're having their education here, to find out basically what do they think about the changing face of the area, how's it affecting them, what do they like, what do they not like. There's an element of sort of we want to speak to people about health, and obviously
I think we've got a new participant. Come and have a seat. So we've got that's Fabio, we've got Lynn, we've got, how do you say your name?
Mayoa. Yeah.
We've got Susan. My name's Mikey. What's your name?
Masha.
Masha, welcome. At the moment we're just sort of talking about Elephant and Castle. We're talking about, is this area changing for the better? Is it changing for the worse?
Now, I think.
Sit down first and then tell.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that we always have to hope for the best, because change is always happening and they are frightening most of the times. But not all the changes they are for the worst. So we hope that is for the better. But I think that the thing that is not working are humans. Right. Because unfortunately humans, they are horrible. They are twisted, narrow-minded, and very selfish. So, until that doesn't change, I don't think that any kind of changing in structure or infrastructure is worth it.
So the problem is with human beings, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. They're too narrow-minded, they're too twisted, they're too selfish. Human beings, what do people think? Is the problem at the very heart of the nature of human beings? They're too selfish. What do people think? Is that?
Well, I've been speaking to some older people, and they said people are less polite these days. There's a childminder with 6 children trying to cross the road, and the cars don't stop for her. Things like that. So it's an interesting thing to actually think of being polite each day, and maybe everyone's rushing about, possibly less time for that social.
Values anymore. It's the lack of values.
Can I ask Masha, is there a way to go back to actually kind of somehow emphasize those values?
Probably we need again someone that can be a charismatic person, to look at and try to emulate, as it was, for example, in the 60s, 70s, we had a lot of people that we could look at and say, oh look, that's good how he's thinking, how he's leading his life. So, yes, but unfortunately...
Can you give us an example of one of those people from the past that actually did that?
In my opinion, Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Jim Morrison, yes.
Yeah.
I think that he was fantastic,
Yeah. Okay.
And
he had the charisma, I suppose, to...
Yes.
Okay, well, actually, we're trying to visualise some of these, and maybe, Rick, you could visualise... You can just see Rick behind those screens, trying to visualise some of the ideas here. Maybe that you could visualise Jim Morrison as a kind of leader that could. I think that would be quite a good image to see that.
I'd like to ask the younger generation because
Yeah.
you know what they think about
Yeah.
about people.
Do you agree with this thing? Do you think people are getting worse, or is the problem human nature itself?
I think humans haven't changed. I don't think there's a difference. I think
Yeah.
you can look back at things nostalgically, but I think human nature genuinely doesn't change.
Yes.
And I think it is about the culture of specific places. So,
Right.
like I said, I'm from Manchester.
Yeah.
And people are a lot nicer there. They just
can
are.
we import, is it about importing Mancunians, or how do we get that
Honestly,
niceness?
they wouldn't come, but they're very proud and you know. But it's about the community spirit, and I think London may have lost that in some areas, and that could be an issue of gentrification
Yeah.
as well. So yeah.
Have we lost community spirit? Is that what it's about? Can we learn from the Mancunians? Come and get involved in this. I'm sure you will attract more people to the table with your. Maybe you could be that charismatic person to take us forward. Hang on a sec.
And I think that,
People are very selfish. Yeah.
yes, and I think also about communities, I think that they are using them most of the times to have their own advantages.
Right.
And, and they don't really care, if they are together or not.
So people are kind of putting in for themselves rather than for the community. Okay. Is that true? Have we lost community spirit?
I don't think I think that's true in part. I think community spirit exists, but it's also in different shapes and forms.
Yeah.
So So
Worse
kind of
forms? Is it?
in worse forms. Oh, I don't know. Worse.
What are the different forms, anyways?
So it's things like people taking part in social media and activism through that way and raising concerns about their local area in kind of new mediums. It's also about helping broader spaces. So I think if it's a London issue, we'll get involved, or if it's a national issue, you get involved in kind of different ways. So it's not just about your immediate area.
May I give us a final thought before you go? Hang on a sec, Masha, let's just get a final thought from Mayo.
Profound piece. I don't know, I think you just have to, I think this is good what you're doing here, getting people's opinions. But at the end of the day, there's always winners and losers with everything. So it's just softening the blow
Can we
for
make
the
more
losers.
winners and less losers?
We can if we make sure that the companies that move into this area and the developers take into account the community's feelings, and that the community's feelings are addressed by people like you, and there's some kind of dialogue.
So we need to take this forward and actually make this a kind of valuable
it has to
thing
be
that
a
people
back
listen
and
to.
forth, and I think that's the only way to have a successful change, because it's inevitable. So but thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So come and have a seat on the table of chat. We're talking about. Okay, give us a final thought.
Final thought, let's hope for the best, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
But is there
I'm
more
not
that we can
completely
do than
sure.
hope? I mean,
No, because too many humans.
Yeah. The
Yes.
humans, you don't trust the humans.
No,
to be nice.
not at all, not a bit. No.
It's sad when we can't trust other humans, I think.
Experience, and I'm not going to bore you with the story of my life, okay? Because it's a long story and it's boring sometimes. Yes.
No, I'm sure
yes,
it's not.
but humans.
I do like the idea of hoping for the best. I think it's important that we always have hope.
Just give us a couple of minutes. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. At the moment we're talking. The Masha has said the problems that we have here is all down to human nature. That humans, she doesn't trust humans. They're always. You don't trust political parties.
Especially the Labour Party.
Come and sit down and tell us about it.
There you go. It'll take a long time and they won't be very happy.
You don't trust political parties?
I grew up here.
Yeah.
During the war.
Yeah.
And we had put up with bombing and everything.
Yeah.
And we were lied to by the Labour Party in 1945 when they took power.
Yeah.
And
what do they lie about?
I lied about everything. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it's going to be marvellous.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
No, I know. And to get keep in power, they'll get all the foreigners in
Right.
because we won't vote for them. And that's the only, we've got it in Lewisham as well.
Right.
We've got a yobbo running it, and to keep in power is get all the foreigners into our states, and they're trying to kick us off.
Right. So you feel that you've been marginalised.
We've all
Yeah.
been marginalised since
Right.
1945.
Okay. Come and have a seat. What do you think about politicians? Do you trust them? What's your name?
Doreen.
Doreen.
Doreen, thanks a lot. You are so sweet. She's very sweet.
Sorry?
You are very sweet.
Yeah, well, I'm a historian
You-
as
you-
well.
you-
So.
You're come sit.
Moments, but you are very sweet.
Tell us about their history. Tell us about the history a little bit.
Well, we've always had Labour in here,
Yeah.
but before, during the war and that, they were okay, because my father was in the ARP, and he was rescuing people.
Yeah. What's
but
the ARP?
Air raid precautions.
Right.
They're the ones who had to go into the buildings after they've been bombed.
Sit down for a
They had to
second, tell us-
rescue people
there's-
and
yeah.
that. Well, my son's waiting for me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
After my sister. But after the war, we lived in Portland Street, and they pulled it all down. It could have been revitalised. They pulled it down, and you got the Aylesbury estate. Enough said.
Okay.
It's a rubbish tip.
Right.
And you know, but we were forced out and everything. Oh, you're gonna keep together. But it wasn't.
So you feel totally let down?
Yeah, by all of them.
Okay.
What we need is a British party.
A British party?
Yeah, a British party to take over this country.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know what other people think about.
I can't comment on that because I'm Italian and
Yeah.
of course, I are more than 25 years
What do
that
you
I'm
think
here.
about this question of influx of foreign people into the area?
I'm a foreigner, so
Yeah.
yes. No, but I always try to integrate. I
Yeah.
like a lot the British culture.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of English friends.
Yeah.
More than I don't have Italian friends because I can't stand Italians.
Right.
But anyway, that is another situation.
Yeah.
Yes. And and I think that they are fantastic. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that British people is very tough. They
Yeah.
have terrible times,
Yeah.
and they're still soldier on. I think they are good. Yes.
I mean, Doreen's not here now, but I would like to explore this a little bit more. Why that kind of feeling that people from other countries
To be truthful, Mikey, because
Yeah.
I've been going out and speaking to
Yeah.
people in Southwark
Yeah.
now about this conversation,
Yeah.
and I find that sometimes it's a generational thing,
Yeah.
Especially people from a sort of slightly
Yeah.
older generation
Yeah.
have found the change more difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So it's like they tell you,
Yeah.
like I'm not racist. That's they always say that to me. I'm not racist, but it's too much.
Yeah.
And they've just found it hard. But it's like, I think, as I say, it's like we don't ever have these comments
Yeah.
really from younger people. And unfortunately, it's just from that older generation. They've found it a harder transition period.
Also because most of the times,
Yeah.
they try to put their own beliefs or their own, and so they don't treat the country as the host that keep them, safe and, yes, and they try to make it in their own country, and so people is feeling that, our values, our,
Yeah.
traditions, because they are important, of course,
Yeah.
to have history, to have,
Yeah.
they make them feel like they are nothing, they
Right.
are just a country, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not nice.
So people feel it's a little diminished in a way.
St. George's, because we can't have St. George's because this and that, and we can't have the cross, and we can't have this, and it's not. If you are in a country that is hosting you, you have to be very kind and very polite and respect, of course, because it's not your home. It's not,
Everyone should be polite and respectful anyway, irrelevant of where they come from.
Yeah.
I think that are all Muppets.
I mean,
Yes. Yes.
there
Look
is a sense.
Look around. They
There,
are all Muppets.
no, I mean, I think come and have a seat. Come and get. What do you think of people? Are people naturally kind, or are they naturally in between, somewhere between the two? Okay.
In between is fantastic.
But I mean, there's.
I have an art exhibition exhibition this evening, you see? Yes,
Tell us about is this in the centre?
yes, in the new gallery that just opened here, Peak Gallery, I have an art exhibition. I'm an artist, yes?
Okay.
Yes, you can tell that I'm an artist, yes?
Well, I had a suspicion, but I wouldn't want to make
Okay.
any judgments.
Okay, yes, because you have always to cover your back, yes? Yes, you can't because it's, yes, political correctness, yes.
Well, I mean, you could put it that way, but you know, the other side of it is you don't know who people are until you talk to them. We've got a new face at the table.
Hello.
So we have got, is Masha, and we've got Lynn and Mikey, what's your name?
Kitty.
Kitty. Everyone's welcome, come and have a seat. At the moment, we're kind of talking about, there's a few subjects on the table. It's all about really people, because Masha was saying the problems in this area are really down to human nature, down to selfishness, narrow-mindedness,
Twistiness.
and that's
Greed.
why maybe some of the changes are not necessarily
I
changes.
have a long list.
Yeah. People are all Muppets. Is it down to human nature, and is human nature always the same? Is it getting worse? These are some of the subjects we're talking about now. So I don't know if you want to come in straight away, or if
I've
you.
got something, yeah. I used to live around here.
Yeah.
I'm still part of the art committee.
Right.
And we put on events, and
Yeah.
we found it really hard to find anywhere to hold our events.
Right.
Because there needs to be a good social community space
Yeah.
where we can do things like intergenerational kind of events with youngsters, OAPs together. You know, not to make money. You know, actually just for the experience of the community.
creativity, yeah.
There's people. Elephant and Castle is a funny place. You have people coming through the place. Yeah, and you have people from every single culture you could possibly imagine, but no time to stop and sit down and go
Somebody sitting there.
Hey.
So Kitty, I'm just going to pause that for a second. Let's just find out, what's your name?
Ashraf.
Ashraf.
Yeah.
We got Kitty, we got Masha, we got Lynn and Mikey. We're kind of talking about, well, Kitty's brought up this subject of a kind of, you know, is there a space for, we're talking in a way about community. Are people naturally narrow-minded and selfish? Is it down to the fact, I think you're suggesting, that there's no spaces for people to have that community? Sorry.
It's not encouraged enough.
Is it down to that? And that's what we're talking about at the moment. I mean, do you think people are naturally selfish and narrow-minded, or is there another side to it?
Some people is selfish, some people is selfish.
So it's a mixture.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, let's go back to what you were saying about.
I like to. I mean, if you're working in the rat race, you're tired, coming back from work. Who's got time really to stop and who's got the energy? So it's like a lot of people are sort of forced into this routine.
Right.
And
So
Elephant Castle is this kind of crossroads of a busy routine and working life. But if you actually live here, you know, you need more. You need a space where you can meet up, you can safely hang out, and I mean, to get those things, I wouldn't say that it's people. I would say that it's money that's the problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hang on a sec. Ashraf, give us a thought. Is it people or is it money?
Yeah, you'll come back, you know, no problem.
Okay. I mean, you're going to stay silent. No. Nazmeen, come and get involved in this. Come and have a seat. Come and have a sit down. You know, maybe you're like, as Kitty's saying, rushing around too much. Maybe it's time to stop and just like soak this up a little bit. And then maybe we'll get some gravitation around this conversation. But what do you think? Is it the Kitty's sort of suggesting that if we kind of invested a bit more in community, if we invested in spaces, in projects, then actually that we might see the nicer side of human nature that Masha says we're not seeing. I mean, what do you think about that as a suggestion?
I think there's probably some truth in that. Yeah, you know, people kind of, you give what you put, you're kind of given. You kind of, you know, positivity breeds positivity, as it were.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's some truth in that. I would argue that Southwark is, I'm kind of an officer, so I've got my officer hat on, but I would argue that Southwark's doing well in parts, and we're kind of definitely investing in some parts of a community really well.
Yeah, you don't agree with that?
Really?
You don't agree with that?
Yes. I have my doubts, you know.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I have my
okay.
doubts. I have my doubts.
Is Southwark investing enough in the community? What do you think? Come and have a seat. Give us a couple of minutes. We've got Nazmin, we've got Kitty, we've got Masha, we've got Lynn. 2 minutes. Right, what's your name?
Bella.
I mean, this is a free-form talk show. Everyone's welcome, including people wearing high-vis vests. Come and get involved. And what we're really talking about, it all started with Masha saying that it's all about people. People are just a bit too selfish and narrow-minded. What Kitty said is actually we need to invest more in community and community spaces to get that mix happening, get people talking to each other. So I don't know where you stand on this. Sorry, did you get your name?
Bella, yeah. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's all about public spaces. It's about having facilities that are free and that people can enjoy. You know, and this is the thing I find with like London as well as Southwark, just as a whole, is that anything nice you have to pay for.
Yeah.
And that's fine for those that can, but for those that can't, it's kind of a bit of a problem. I do think it needs to be more prioritization.
More free stuff,
yeah, exactly.
basically.
And it means there needs to be more kind of areas where people feel comfortable enjoying the space and enjoying other people, because everyone's rushing around and no one's like, just there to enjoy.
This is what Kitty was saying.
No,
people are rushing around too much.
Exactly.
But this idea of comfort as well, maybe that's also a point. Is it down? Someone down? No, well, thank you. Thank you for. Have the colleagues got anything to say? What do you agree with, Bella? Okay, so general agreement. Come and have a seat. You can bring your pastries down. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. Right now, we're sort of talking about. Well, Kitty brought up this idea that we need to invest more in community spaces to actually get people talking a bit more and to actually, you know, get a bit more mixing going on, because there is a sense, I think Masha brought this up, that we're losing the community spirit or a sense of niceness of people. Masha sort of feels that people are a bit too selfish.
Too many Muppets. Too many Muppets.
Too many Muppets about. So can we de-Muppetize Southwark? That's the question really on the table at the moment. Can we lose the Muppet nature of it? What's your name?
Harry.
Harry, we've got Lynn, we've got Masha, we've got Kitty and Mikey, and we've got Nazmin over here. So I don't know if you want to just jump in right now, if you want to just listen a little bit.
Yeah, for me, the way that you de-Muppetise it is Southwark Council. They're an absolute joke. Like, you know, the Haygate estate got knocked down, Owlsbury estate, regeneration, it's a joke. Like, there's no such thing as community if you destroy the community, so that's why there's no niceness. If people don't know their neighbours and you know, they're getting forced out of an area, of course people aren't nice, you know, I'd be pissed off, so...
Can they rebuild it, you think?
They don't have any intention to. They don't want people like us here. So that's the sad thing. This will be gone soon.
Yeah.
Then that's another area in a community that's destroyed. Then it gets pushed further back. Then
So you feel like you're not really wanted?
Well, not particularly. It's not my home, but I'm from East, and the same things happen there. So yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you from?
All my family are like Stepney, South Woodford.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So so what do people think? Come and have a seat on this table.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
So, Elephant and Castle Shopping Centre is quite unusual because it's got small businesses in it.
Yeah.
And so when they build the new one, it's probably just going to be like every other shopping centre that's like a clone of every other one.
Yeah.
That's a bit worrying.
So you want to see more space for small businesses like there is here in the new one?
It's quite funny because what makes a place valuable is usually the character and the history of the place. And usually you have this kind of... There's an art scene come up, or it's got this character, and then it gets taken and gentrified. So, you know, what is valued? And when they invest in a place like this, when they built those houses on the Haygate, I wonder if they actually included a community centre in those complexes. I don't think they did.
Right, okay. So what are we investing in, or what are we valuing? Are we valuing the character of this area? Do we want, what sort of shopping centre do we want to see here? I think this one as it is.
Yeah, I want to see this shopping centre. I've seen pictures of it in the 60s and 70s and it was amazing. It was like the most stunning modernist architecture, but you let it run down and people go, oh yeah, it's probably a good thing it got knocked down, and that's the sad thing.
So it's more about letting it
Yeah, that's the whole point of regeneration. You destroy something until it's disgusting. People go, oh, that's probably a good thing, and it's not a good thing at all, because that's a whole community. There's shops everywhere. There's people's homes. You know, it's disgusting. It's absolutely vile. I can't believe that there are people that will happily sign this off and just go, yeah, we'll knock it down. We're bringing a whole new, you know, sort of style of people. We don't want the undesirables, and it's just sad.
Okay, what are you saying?
It's not the fancy shop that is making the shopping center. It's the people that is coming around. It's the people that knows where they are going to buy, what they are going to buy, that trust the people, and yes.
So it's all a bit kind of safe, and it's a bit kind of just the same as everywhere else in a way. I just want to say, give us a couple of minutes. Give us 2 minutes.
I'm very so sorry.
Have you got a final thought for us?
I already gave you my final thought.
The final
thought. Good luck, okay?
Good luck. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, all right, give us a final thought.
To be honest, I've touched on it all, but it's just a case of stuff like this needs to stay. You can't get rid of this shopping centre because it's just an integral part of this area, and it's like, and then where do people go? So you start getting pushed back and pushed out of this area. So. Yeah, the sad thing is like I've read about it how you know the shops have got they have problems and there's no one to answer them because it's all just done to piss them off until they just go, oh, you know what, we give up. Like,
right, so there's a sort of, you feel like there's a campaign of
it's
just kind of
like the Haygate estate was all knocked down. It's already been sold off to the Chinese and whatever, like, and there's not a single social housing at all. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah.
Okay, so you in a way you feel that you're being, you know, it's not really for you, it's for somebody else.
Southwark Council betrayed their people.
Okay. Well, we've got some people from Southwark Council here. Do they want to respond to that?
Probably not.
I don't know what people think. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for getting involved. But it's, in a way, I mean, it's quite a sort of like pessimistic view. But you feel that's the reality.
That is the reality.
Yeah.
That's not a pessimistic view. That's being a realist. That's the honest truth. Yeah. Gentrification is killing people. It is murdering people. I'm sorry, but it's not an acceptable thing. If you're on a council and that is what you're happily letting go along, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Is there a way, do you think, to reverse it? Just as last,
like if you want to reverse this problem that's been created, you need to really invest, and you need to consider every single group that live in this area, and that space. So, I mean, I pictured something near the park, like a venue where you could have a cafe, you could have acts, you could invite the youngsters to perform, just something that unites all the different people, because at the moment, not just in Southwark but in all over London, everyone's segregated. The youngsters go to nursery, the parents go to work, the OAPs are in the whole people's home, no one sees each other apart from the grumpy conversations on the way to the bus stop, and I just it's going to look pretty. What they're doing already looks quite nice, but the reality underneath it all is that hasn't helped the people that lived here originally. I had to move out. A lot of people have had to leave.
Right. Why did you have to move out?
It's money, you know. It's like, you know, now this is an up and coming place. People can't afford what you know. Once they've kicked everyone out of the Haygate, no one else is going to is going to afford to take back the house that they had.
Right.
I mean, I knew the last resident he actually owned his house in the Haygate estate. And he was removed from his house that he owned.
Yeah.
It is awful how if you've got more money you can do what you want, regardless whether it's even whether it's legal or not. You can bend the law if you have the money. It gives you power. Okay. But at the end of the day, that someone pays for it somewhere. You know.
We've got the Muppet politicians. Well, we can, you know, hopefully some of the people will come back. So I guess, trying to think of, you know, because I don't know, I'm sort of like relentlessly positive with this. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. Is there a way to reverse this, to address these problems? Is there a way to actually do something about these things?
Yeah, you can show me where the funding is, because I apply for funding to put on events, and I have been looking for a space that's usable. Or, you know, that show me where these venues are, because I don't know, you know, like just a space where we can hold an event, because in my committee we've been looking everywhere for one.
Yeah.
I actually don't live here anymore, but I'm part of Elephant and Castle Art Committee, and do you know the Pullins estate? I used to live there, and the whole thing was going to get knocked down, but we all resisted, and now look, they're beautiful and they're worth so much money, and it's full of creative people. Anyway, we've got a community centre there because everyone on the estate raised money to put it on. That's not something that the council are going to do. They're not just going to go, here's your community centre. You know, it's too much. There's too much desperation, and you know, what can be sold? Everything's being sold to the rest of the world. Yeah. And we're not going to have anything left for ourselves.
Well, what's happening to the money that they're getting for selling it?
What's happening to it? It's not being invested back into our area, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, they might be building pretty landscapes and buildings, but it's more to assist a whole commercial lifestyle of working, and there's more to life than working.
Right. So it's all a bit too work driven.
Money driven. Yeah. I mean, it depends what your work is, but a lot of people work just for the money, not actually because it's meaningful to them as a skill.
In a way, this idea of working has become just about trying to...
It's a money machine. Yeah, it's a money machine.
Feed the money machine rather than some sort of identity.
You're talking to someone who's basically done everything they possibly can not to. Yeah. And it's a struggle, you know. Yeah. I do charity work. I do a lot of different projects, and I jeopardised my finances in order to keep them going. Yeah. And without people like me who do that, you don't have any of this stuff there.
Do you feel valued as doing all of these things? You feel that?
I feel like people value me to my face, but they don't really take me seriously. Right. Because you have to work. I call it the Matrix, you know. Right. It is. It's like, well, what person in their right mind would allow like humanity to suffer so that they can earn a bit of extra cash? And actually, everybody's doing it in this city blindly.
Okay, aren't we slaves to the money machine? That's what Kitty's saying. Am I a slave to the money machine?
You seem like it, to be honest. You seem pretty fulfilled in your job, but I don't know. I'm wondering, like, you see on this bus pass thing here, would this be a good place to look for community spaces?
I don't know. Well, let's get practical, and let's get practical and just find out about community spaces and making it happen, because it seems like you've got a big drive to make it happen.
I mean, it's just funny that you're.
I mean, it's kind of up to you where we take this conversation. Do we talk about the money machine? Is there any way to get out of this kind of cycle of money, working to pay the money, and then you lose your sense of identity of you know, you're just working, no time for anything, for other stuff?
Big questions, Richard.
Well, that's Talkaoke.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about well, Kitty has said that we're kind of like the slave to a money machine, that it's all about money, and then we've lost our sense of like value in terms of other things going on, because it just becomes about money and making the time to make the money.
Again, I probably agree with Kitty to some extent that a large group of people, or lots of people, are consumed by money, but I think you have to look at why that's come about. Is it necessity? Are people kind of, because things are so expensive, because there's such a pressure on people to kind of have a certain way of life, that you're constantly out there trying to pursue that dream that's been put out there, that, you know, material things, possessions, rather than experiences, people and human connection are valuable.
So you're putting it down in a way to this kind of pressure that comes from the people trying to sell stuff?
Possibly people around us, whether that's keeping up with the Joneses, whether it's the big marketing companies telling you that you need everything that's shiny and new, and, you know, probably not as key to life as they kind of tell you it is. So that's my view, I suppose. Okay. It's kind of external forces as much as it is.
So, I mean, is that correct? In a way, we're kind of sold stuff all the time. It's the marketing machine. Are we slaves to the money machine? What do people think on this side? Can I just ask you on this side? Oh, we're just talking about marketing. Is it down to marketing that we all end up buying stuff we don't need? And is that why we're the slave to the money machine? That's what Nasmeen is saying anyway.
Just one answer.
Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. We're talking about money. Are we slaves to the money machine? Yeah.
We are, because we all need money
Yeah.
to survive. Whether that survival is to pay your rent, to buy your food, to pay your bills, to have some quality of life. So I think you could say that we are, and it's very. It's very hard to live without money.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? How do you live without money? We need money to live.
Do we need money to live?
We need money to live, but as long as certain people get the money, certain people cannot get the money. That's what happened.
Yeah.
The top class people get the money, lower class people don't get the money. That's what happened. No, I love stand up. I love stand up.
Yeah.
That's why when it's got. You ever see the program? What they show you? The people who win the money. And the post office lottery.
Yeah.
And them hold it up all the while. Do you ever see one black person inside of it yet? No.
So you think they're keeping the money away?
Yeah. They keep it away from us.
Yeah.
They're going to give us a little piece. They don't give us a fullness.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Is that just how it is? Is there anything we can do about it?
That's how the system said. It cannot do better. It cannot go good again. It gone bad already.
System in any way? Have you got any ideas for changing the system that you're talking about? Or like, what would you like to see done to
change the system? We change the system where I'm talking about. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Not a short time.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to take a very long time.
What's the first step? Let's say.
Well, the first step
is
to find work and get the kids them. That is the first step. The kids them need work. You need to take them off of the road.
Yeah.
They need to get something to do. Get them to have something to do. You wouldn't find them make so many crime going on. But them don't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Them watch people wearing good clothes, wearing good car. They want to do it too. But if they get to work, they can afford to do it. But them not have a job. So even now in Christmas, you're going to find a lot of crime because the kids them need money.
Yeah.
And the government not giving them it.
So in a way, Christmas puts even more pressure on it.
More pressure.
Okay.
That's why the system goes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like some money now, but how can I get it? Unless I work.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, what are you saying that the jobs out there are not the right jobs?
The jobs out there, but only certain people get the job. Certain people don't get the class of job. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the system said.
Yeah.
Certain people get the job and certain people do not get the job.
Okay.
Them turn you down.
Right. Okay.
And the next man come and say, got you. That's what it goes.
I think that basically there's lots of jobs out there, but are we giving our young people direction of where to get that money from?
Yeah.
Because it's like right
so you're
now.
putting it down to the lack of direction from the young.
Sometimes it is, because it's like just recently I've been speaking to young people. I work with young people sometimes, and I've been speaking to young people, and it's like lots of young people say like, you know, I want this degree, I want that degree, but sometimes those degrees don't lead to a job. But the thing is, we have lots of shortages, like skill shortages, that we're not saying to young people, okay, these are skill shortages that you can go into this field, you're going to have a good career. Well, there's engineering, there's IT, there's construction. I mean, look at Elephant and Castle, look at all of the construction. But the thing is, lots of our young people don't want to do construction. It's hard work, and it's like they don't want to do that. But back in the day,
we've got a new face to the table. So we've got Nasmeen. What's your name?
My name is Lloyd.
What, Lloyd?
Lloyd.
We've got Lynn. We've got Kitty. What's your name?
Elam.
Okay, just give us. Sorry, Elam. Let's just give us a final thought before you go.
Well, the government must do better with the kids. Work, job for the kids. More training, more education, and change the plan, change the system, make it be good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, do you feel that the system can be changed, or do you feel that it's...
It can be changed, but you have to take out the corruption.
Right, okay. So there's an element of corruption there as well. Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this. Is there jobs for young people? Are certain people, I mean, Lloyd was saying that black people are being denied the money. If you look on the national lottery, you never see a black winner. So these are some of the things. Are young people, are black people being denied the the opportunities, or is it a question of direction, as Lynn says?
I mean, I suppose the thing is, with a lottery, it is based on the percentages, and obviously the percentage of black population in the UK is not that high. So I can see why you don't see any black lottery winners.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a history of black people being denied certain jobs. I mean, there was a time when black or Asian people couldn't work in, like, get jobs in Oxford Street, for example. Or they couldn't get jobs in the council, they couldn't get jobs on London public transport. So I can understand where he comes from, feeling that way. The thing is, also, I think that a lot of young people, they don't know, they don't know that they're not really made aware of being able to work on a construction site, right? Because most times, a lot of people, they bring their family members in. It's a very much who you know kind of industry, and a lot of the labourers, well, they're not from the UK. They're not Londoners. You know, they're from Eritrea, Romania, those kind of countries. So how are you going to get in? I mean, I remember when I was at school, and they'd done this really good thing where you could, like, we worked on a construction site for a week, and that made me realise, oh wow, you know. This is a possibility. It wasn't for me. However, those skills that I gained, putting up a wall, whatever, those skills, I've used them in my future life. So I think just young people just need to be made aware of all of the different... They need to be brought to the building site, basically.
So bring the young people to the building site. We've got any face on the table. What's your name?
Hadrian Fletcher.
Hadrian, we got Nasmin. Stay there, Nasmin. We got Lynn, we got Kitty, we got Ella, and Mikey. We're sort of talking about, in a way, are certain people being denied opportunities? Is it about making those opportunities more evident, more obvious? Is it a bit of both? Do you feel that there are opportunities out there for young people? Hey, have you got any views on any of this, Hadrian?
I feel that opportunities are certainly getting less for young people as there are less jobs about.
Right. Okay. So there are less jobs out there for young people, and what is causing that, do you think?
I'm not sure. It's like when I go to apply for jobs, most jobs are saying like, oh, you need so many years experience. But like, if every job needs so many years experience, how am I meant to get into one of those jobs?
So it's actually, there's an experience barrier, and that is, I guess, skewed.
I remember being 16 and so desperate to, like, get a job, and the first job I got was like waitressing. But I realise now at 16 you can't go in and pick up a little job to earn some cash at 16 in the catering industry because of health and safety regulations. You have to be 18 now. So I mean, and then when you're 18 they want you to have like 2 years, a year experience. But you know, I mean, it kind of states to us fail. But what I would say is that, like, I know the creative industries are being pushed right now, right? But what they don't tell you is that when you leave, you will have nothing. You will be broke. You will be self-employed, and you're gonna have a job this week, you're gonna be broke. They don't tell you that. They just tell you, oh wow, this is what you're going to be, creative industries.
Right, okay.
You know? So...
Okay, so things like creative industries don't always lead to a lot of success and money. And maybe that's not part of the marketing. You were talking about marketing earlier on.
Marketing for life. But I suppose my question back is, like, what's a good example where there's a career path where someone says, you know, the reality of it? Because I think whatever job you go into, whatever industry you go into, you won't know the entire, you know, you won't know exactly what it means to be in that career until you're in it. So what can we do better to to make you fully understand about your career options and the reality of actually being in that sector or that trade or whatever it might be?
Okay, so making that path a bit clearer. I mean, Rick's trying to visualise the conversation here. What is this? Is this like very, very busy? What is it? Oh, it's just London today. Typical London, just full of people. People leaving. Oh, it's an exodus out of London. Oh, right, I see. People being forced out of London, I think is what we were talking about a bit earlier on. Anyway,
on that point, actually, I think it's one of those things you don't know until you do it, unfortunately. I think a lot of the career paths that people choose, young people choose, is based upon what their parents want. You know, a lot of people, they go into certain degrees because their parents want. I've spoken to people that hate their course, but they know that they cannot leave, because if they leave, they're just going to get a backlash from their family. And so there's that. But also, I think, again, you just don't know until you do it. You know, some people, they really love the idea of teaching, but once they're in that classroom with those children, they realize they hate it. But the best thing is that you can you can. I think there's so much pressure on like knowing what you want to do at each stage.
Well, it's interesting because there's this word pressure that's come up quite a lot in different circumstances. And maybe we can go on and talk about that. And what is do people feel under pressure? And is this pressure actually, be it a pressure to earn money, to find money, to have a job?
Pressure is the price of housing. I mean, the biggest difference I can see is like my parents' generation. I mean, my parents, they went off and lived in a van. We didn't we didn't try and fit the system. I've grown up on the road. I did do a degree, but I kind of resent it because I didn't need that degree. It doesn't help me get work. The thing that helps me get work is an MVQ that I've got. And actually, I really resent the fact that there's such differences in pay, right? One job is completely undervalued compared to a different type of job. And so why is one person getting paid 10 times someone else's wages? Say, for example, if you want to work in sort of human resources on a computer, or I'd definitely say you get a lot of well-paid sort of managerial computer style courses, and things like working with people or being a school teacher is completely undervalued, and it's like being a school teacher is probably one of the hardest jobs out there, and if they don't pay teachers enough, they're not going to be doing the best jobs they can. They're going to be stressed, they're going to be pressured. But so there's that, because I would have become a school teacher had I not thought I'd probably get cancer and die halfway through my career, because it's probably the most stressful job. I've seen people really struggle.
Too much stress, and
they need to value people. They need to value work in a different way, I think, and housing needs to be a little bit more affordable.
Okay. So I mean, I just want to put a call out to anyone who's standing around. Come and join us. This is Talkaoke. It's a free-form talk show. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, and there are a few different subjects on the table. We're talking about pressure of life, but also talking about opportunities for young people, and also this sort of imbalance of pay that, like, a manager gets paid 10 times more than a school teacher, and Kitty's saying a school teacher is a much more valuable job than just a manager or somebody working on a computer. They're working with people. So,
I agree with what you were saying. Teachers are so undervalued. I mean, I think there was a time when I was at school that teachers were valued, and teachers would be in the school for like 10, 15 years. But now it's presented as a sort of like, be a teacher to a step towards somewhere else. So be a teacher for 1-2 years, and then you can leave and like do what you really want to do. So then there's no real investment into the school, into those pupils. So the teachers, they come and they don't really care about the children that much, because they know, well, I'm going to be leaving soon anyway. And that's, I mean, the things I've learned from teachers, from primary school, secondary school, are things that have stuck with me throughout my life. It's so important, and it's such a shame that it is undervalued.
Okay, we've got a new face to the table. What's your name?
My name is Mohammed.
Mohammed. We got. Have you got a final thought for us, Kitty, before you go?
This is really good. I'd be good if you continue doing this, and I hope you do something productive with it. I'm really happy to see this here.
Well, thanks for getting involved, and we're here all day, so maybe join us a bit later on, and we'll see where the conversation goes. So we've got Mohammed, we've got Ellen, we've got Lynn, we've got Hadrian, we've got Nasmin and Mikey, and at the moment we're sort of talking about this. Well, it's all come out of this question of pressure. People feel under pressure in terms of like their housing, having to pay the rent, but also pressure about what kind of job they can get. And have we got those right kind of paths for people to actually develop into the jobs that they want to do, that are going to pay them, the decent money that they're going to get? And that's what we're talking about at the moment, I suppose. There's a few different threads, and it's kind of up to you. We started talking a bit about teachers, we started talking a little bit about spaces. It's kind of, the whole point is it's up to you to decide where you want to take this. So
life is expensive here, yes? Yes. I'm a student here, and I study language, English language, and after that the master degree. And I think the life is very expensive here, because I'm a student and I can't work in the first year. Okay. I pay rent 600, and I need to lose my money.
Yeah.
I need to save my money, but I can't because the life is very, very expensive here.
Yeah, so it's almost impossible to actually pay the rent and do other stuff as well.
And because I can't work, I can't help myself to save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we were talking about earlier around kind of what drives people and whether it's material possession and why we're chasing money. Well, I think that's one of what one of the other people around the table said.
Yeah.
But I think Mohammed's point is that you're chasing the money because things are so expensive that it is really, you know, it's need driving that. So it's almost systemic, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so it's more about the rent and it's more about
Cost of living,
just the cost of living. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. This is a free-form talk show. Is London too expensive? Can we make it cheaper? What come and tell us about it.
You know what I really love? I love the whole like peer-to-peer economy, like you know, things like Free Cycle and you know, online communities where you can just
ways to save money. Mohammed, give us a final thought. Can you? I mean, this is hopefully being listened to by Southwark Council. So, is there anything you would say? Is there anything they could do to actually help this problem?
Okay, for me, I think because I'm a student, I need to have a chance to work, but I can't because in my PRP, no work, short-term student.
Right.
Yes, my
so
visa.
You're not allowed to work.
Yes.
So that makes things tough.
Yes, and I lose a lot of money here because when I come here from my country, I paid 30,000.
Right. Wow.
Yes. For living here and study language and master. It's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
But I can't
You can't make that money back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lose a lot of money and I don't have a chance to work here, to do anything, to develop myself because in my country the situation is very hard.
What country is that?
From Jordan.
Jordan, okay,
yes, Middle East.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard because you work a lot of time, all the time, 10 hours, and the salary is very bad, like 400.
Right.
And the life is very expensive in my country, not same like London.
Yeah, so in a way, similar problems.
Yes, in all the countries, I think the life is very expensive, not just in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's for my opinion, I think.
Okay, so maybe if you could work, you could actually make that money back. But thank you for taking part. Shukran.
Thank you.
Okay, so is it just the London problem? Is this the world that's just getting too expensive? Seems like Jordan is the same. Come and get involved in this. Come and have a seat. Is life too expensive in London? That's what we're talking about now. What do you think? Is it too expensive? Is there a way to make it? Give us 2 minutes. Is there a way to make it cheaper? That's one of the questions. Yeah.
I feel that I don't know any different. You know, being born in London.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I know that. You know, once upon a time, a Snickers used to cost 30p.
Yeah.
Now a Snickers is £1 and it's smaller. I mean, so I suppose things have got more expensive.
Yeah. So you're basing it on the Snickers bar?
Pretty much, because I remember I used to have like £1. £1 used to get me a bus ride, a Snickers, and a Panda Pop drink. You know, now £1.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to get me very far.
Okay. Okay. So, cost of everything has gone up. Are we being squeezed more? Is there anything we can do about it? Is there any? Do we just have to accept this is the way?
Greggs. I remember when I was a student and that Greggs, wow, you could get a pasty for like £1.70 and a donut. I wonder if it's
big shout out to this one just behind you there. Big shout out to Greggs. Hadrian, have you got a view on this? Come and have a seat. Is life getting too expensive? Is there anything we can do about it? That's what we're talking about here.
Certainly stuff's getting more expensive. Like, I've pretty much accepted the fact I'm probably never going to own a house in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and then I go on Twitter and there's all these like 50-year-old men telling me like, oh, you want everything handed to you on a plate, and it's like, no, like you got your uni education was free.
Yeah.
You got your house for like 12 grand. I've got to pay 9 grand for uni.
Yeah.
And then like.
Yeah.
500 grand for a house. Like, everything's definitely getting more expensive, but the older generation don't necessarily understand that.
They don't understand or accept that life, how tough life is for young people.
Yeah, exactly. They think we've got it easy, but we haven't.
I mean, are we appreciating how tough it is for young people? That's what we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah. And I think that there's this idea that like young people, all young people do is just like go out drinking every weekend and just like spend money on rubbish, because I was reading an article that came out recently about the fact that if millennials, you know, I can't stand that word anymore, but if they want to buy a house, they need to stop doing these 20 things, binge drinking, online shopping, and it's just like, really, I mean, most young people, they're not doing that, you know.
Is it because they can't afford to do it?
Yeah, because they can't afford to do it, you know, so.
Is life too tough for young people? That's what we're talking about at the moment. Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this.
I suppose I'm curious to know what's kind of fueling that perception about young people. Are we doing ourselves, I kind of still class myself a young person, are we doing ourselves a disservice in any way by not kind of putting out the right image or the right view about you know, what the age group is doing? Is it, you know, what's kind of encouraging that perception? So again, not an answer to anything, just a question.
So almost on top of life being really tough for young people, there's also this misperception about what young people are about. Is that true? Do people agree with that? Are we sort of stigmatising young people, kind of talking about them as kind of hedonist, binge drinking, social media consuming? I just threw that one in myself, but
I suppose people in, like you said, you know, the adults, you know, parents, you know, they had their free education, their houses were a lot cheaper, and also they were also going out drinking and having fun, so let's not get it twisted.
So do you think they are projecting that sense of come and have a seat, come and get involved in this, don't be, I've scared them away now. Young people, are young people, are we misrepresenting them? That's what we're talking about now. Come and have a seat, come and get 2 minutes, come on. Come on, we got Ellen, we got Nazmin, we got Lynn, we got Hadrian, I'm Mikey, what's your name?
Kai.
And what about the colleagues? Come and sit down, come and get involved in this, come on. So we're talking about, come and have a seat, it's not live, but we are going to put this onto the internet. We'll give you a card. You don't want to be online. Okay, fair enough. So what's it, Carl?
Kai.
Kyle. Kai. I get it right, finally. So we're talking about young people. Are young people being misrepresented? Hadrian was saying that whereas an older person could buy a house for £12,000 and they got their education paid for, a younger person has to pay £9,000 a year and £500,000 for a house. Ellen was saying that there's this perception that young people are kind of binge drinking and doing drugs and buying stuff online all the time, when actually they can't even afford to do any of those things. So are we misrepresenting young people? And if so, who is it down to re-represent them? Because Nazmin was saying that young people should try and put out a different image. That's what we're talking about now. So we've got Ellen, we've got Kai, we've got Nazmin, Hadrian, Lynn, what's your name?
Fiona.
And
Kenya.
At the moment, so, I mean, do you agree with this? Do you think young people are...
Because of what people our age do and how they dress is the way society looks at them. I think maybe it's because, like, if one person does something bad, then it means they're basing it all under one category, like. And I feel like this needs to change. But.
So you think people are kind of in a way brought down by just one person doing a bad thing, of like...
Yeah, like, did you hear the news about the police and that black boy?
Which?
There's a black boy who goes to Bacon's College, my sister knows her, and like, I don't think that's fair, like, why would they do that to him?
Yeah, he was chased, he was on a bicycle apparently, and was chased by the police, and I think he's been injured quite badly, is that right? Yeah. So that's been on the news this week, hasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, I somehow missed that one, but...
Yeah, I mean, young people don't trust the police. Do you think young people don't trust the police?
Yeah, because the police, like, I think the police need to listen to what we have to say. Like, the police shouldn't just act on what they think, and I think because, like, it's not only black people as well. There's so many situations where people are getting judged because of how they dress. But like boys, like, they always wear hoodies in the dark. So people looking at them, why wearing a hoodie, like. And I feel like no one, us especially, we can't trust the police. I feel like we should.
What about
but
the police? Do they trust young people?
No, they don't trust us. I don't think they don't trust us. I don't know why, but we didn't do nothing wrong to them. I think because of maybe like one part of boys or whatever did something bad. That's not on all of us. Do you know what I mean? Not all of us are like that.
Is there a way to re-represent this, just to sort of like make the case? Yeah.
There was a report, 20 years ago, Stephen Lawrence, that whole family, the outcome of that was prove that the police are institutionally racism. They've admitted it themselves, and recently they came out and said that yes, black people are handled with much more force than white people. So this is coming from their own mouths. So they're aware of the racism that they have. I mean, if somebody stole a mobile phone, do they deserve to be beaten up and put in hospital beds? I mean, if he was a different race, white people steal mobile phones too. You don't see them in a hospital bed beaten up by the police. So,
I mean, is there a way to sort of is a change happening? I mean, you mentioned that the police at least admitted that they are institutionally racist. But is there any change? Can you see change happening? Is there a way to make that change happen fast?
No, I feel like if we had put our voices out, and we all came together as a community, I feel like there will be a change. But right now, because black young boys especially, we don't trust them, and we need to put our confidence in these young blacks to come together.
So it's about giving them having confidence in them to start off with.
This is like 2017, and it's something where it happens. If it's going to change, it needs to start. It's going to take a long time to change, because not everybody's going to trust everybody. So
So, Kai, have you got a view on this? On that, is there a way to re-represent young people, young black people? Is there? Is the change happening? Can we make the change? Is it too slow? These are some of the questions on the table.
I think that we tried with like the young mayor of Lucian and all of that, like the young mayor and all that. We tried to get involved in politics and all that, but I don't think they really give us like a strong voice to get involved in all of that stuff.
So it's a bit too limited, or
we don't get enough of a say and stuff.
Okay, so it's about having a bigger say. Hadrian, have you got a view on this? Can't come to you in a second.
Well, I think the police are definitely inherently racist. I was arrested a few weeks ago at a protest, and I wasn't handcuffed, and I was just walked to a van, but there were other people there that were black, and they were being handcuffed for doing at exactly the same place.
What was it? What was the protest?
It was the Million Mask March in London. It's an anti-government protest, but the police have clearly done stuff wrong, because no one's ever made a song called "Fuck the Fire Brigade," have they? But they made a song called "Fuck the Police."
Okay. Okay. So certainly the police haven't got the same reputation as the fire brigade. Perhaps there's not that level of racism in the fire brigade. I don't know if there's any complaints about that.
I mean, there was an issue with which I think it was in Shoreditch police station actually, fire station, where they were being racist to one of their fire brigades. But I do hope that if I do think that with the fire brigade they will help, they will rescue people, no matter what colour. But I do think there is something where no matter what, the older generation are always going to think that the young youth are terrible. They're always going to forget how they were. Short skirts were made in the 1960s, right? Short skirts were made in the 1960s. How old are those women now? They're the grannies telling you, oh, look at the young people today, when they were wearing the short skirts. But also, I think that when you look back, change comes from young people, because change has happened for young people because they fought for it.
Right.
I'm trying to think of youth movements back in the day.
It sounds like Hadrian's involved in one right now.
Exactly.
Okay, so the young people are the ones that bring about the change. Are they bringing about the change now? Let's get some names. So we've got Lynn. What's your name?
Clyde.
And
Femi.
And
Effie.
And what's it again? Sorry.
Fiona.
And
Kenya.
Yeah.
Kai.
And
Nasmin.
And Hadrian. And I'm Mikey. So I mean, what do people think? Is it just a question of that old people are always going to have this opinion about younger people? Is it all older people?
I think not all old people think that everyone they see is just gangbanging or doing something wrong. But I think a lot of people, they do see that. They just see young people and they just think instantly they're doing something wrong.
So they immediately think wrong rather than right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way to change that, do you think?
Yeah, I think there is a way to change that. Like, obviously, the older generation, they need to stop making premeditated judgments.
Yeah.
So from when that stops, obviously, not only would the police see that we're actually trying to stop what we're doing and actually get up there in society.
Yeah.
But they need to actually trust us and not only trust but listen to what we're saying.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so it's about trust. It's also about listening as well.
Yeah. And taking action.
Yeah. Okay. Do you agree with what Ellen said, that it's the young people that make the change?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's because we need to portray an example, because it's like, this is 2017, like,
yeah,
change is not going to happen as quick as people expect it to.
Yeah.
It will happen gradually, but it's not going to happen as quick. Like,
what changes would you like to see?
Like, just equality, like people shouldn't mistreat people because of how they dress or what they look like.
What might do is go around the table and ask what change people want to see. What change do you want to see?
Honestly, I think that the police should be more fairer to like black people in particular, because in America they've been fighting black people, but it's not fair. I think the
do you
police.
feel it's the same here as in America?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not as bad.
It's not as bad, but similar.
Yes.
Okay. What change do you want to see?
Like more helping young people develop the talent, like football, music, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You feel that then we're not really developing young people's talent? Okay.
Yeah, I want to see a change in the community. Once that happens, then obviously.
Can you say a bit more about what do you mean change in the community?
Change in the community, as in, like, not only should it be black people in the slums or in the streets, as they say, but also the upper class coming down and seeing how we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually a bit more contact with upper class people.
Yeah.
A bit more mixing.
Yeah.
Okay. Change. What change would you like to see?
I would like to see young people valued and listened to more. I've got 4 children, I've got a stepson, I've got 6 grandchildren.
Right.
And it's like, I've lived in this sort of South London now for 20, 30 years, and I think it's really important that we listen to young people. These are our future.
Yeah.
These young people are our future. If they're not valued, don't feel valued, if they feel victimised, how are we setting ourselves up for a sort of like a bright future?
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm going around the table on this one. What change would you like to see?
Just less demonisation of young people in general and free uni tuition fees.
Okay. Free education.
Yeah.
Okay. What change would you like to see?
I think if we're talking about change
Oh
and
no, I just want to. Well, so would you shout it from over here? What change would you like to see?
I agree with that lady when she said about value.
Yeah.
All people, I don't think young people obviously.
Value all people.
I was just saying to this lady here with my
Yeah.
that I think politicians and Southwark Council don't value people.
Right.
The working class,
Okay. Yeah.
working class people,
Yeah.
social class people, and apparently she said, I made the quote of the day, Southwark is a social landlord, so they should have a social conscience.
Right, okay.
Which they don't have at the moment.
Yeah.
They don't even talk about people.
Right.
They don't want to listen. This is just about
Do you don't think they'll do anything with this? They won't actually.
They won't listen to people unless it suits their agenda. So
Right.
if everybody agrees that they don't want something, they won't. If
Okay.
it's about pound signs in their eyeballs, they'll do it. If
Yeah.
not, they won't.
Okay, so value people more and value money less.
I have to say a little bit just on behalf of sort of Southwark Council. I think it's hard, they're not communicating to people what is happening here. It's like because of the government cuts to local authorities, it's like they have to make money to be able to build new social housing. And I think it's like not everyone sees what's happening, so it's like we can see all the new buildings going up. We know they're not social housing, a lot of them. However, some of the money that we get off the back of that new housing is then used to build social housing. It's like we are building. I can't actually tell you where because I don't work in that department, but I've seen the pictures. It's like there is a lot of building going on. Not most probably in these numbers, but there is building going on. We are building new homes.
Okay. And we're just still going around the table about what change you want to see. I think that's definitely something we need to pick up on once we've done that. Nazmin, what change would you like to see?
Just in terms of what the guys around the table were saying earlier, just the opportunities for young people and older people to actually meet, and it goes back to that conversation we're having about spaces again. So finding those spaces where different parts of our, varied community can come together.
It's kind of what you were saying as well. Try and get more mixing going on. Yeah.
I think that young people should be given more of a voice. Like we don't really obviously we get a little bit of say, but no one really listens to us enough. That we can say something, but who at the top is really going to care what we say?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like no one really believes that the decision makers are going to listen to the people. I mean, I think that's clear from everyone around the table.
We have a youth council and we're always calling out to young people to come and get involved, and sometimes the response isn't what we want. We want young people to come in and have a voice. It's really, really hard sometimes. It's like people say, that they don't want to do it, or they kind of, when we try and talk to people, they kind of walk away. They turn their head and walk away from us. So it's really, really hard. I mean, there's young people there that we meet sort of like every 2 weeks and try and get them involved in council decision making. But we need to get you guys on board, because it's like we're trying really hard to do that. We go to the schools, youth clubs.
What's the point over here?
Opinions, everyone is scared. If they say something, is someone gonna judge me for what I have to say? People are scared. News gets around quickly. If someone says something wrong, people are gonna start. I don't have to explain. Judging.
So there's too much judgment going on.
There's too much judgment.
Okay. You were talking a bit earlier on about the young people's mayor. You were saying that you don't have much.
We don't have much. We have young mayor, but everyone knows that we don't. No one in school really takes it seriously to who they vote for, and even when they do vote for someone, the power that they get, no one really knows or cares what they do. So,
right. Okay. So no one really, they get voted in, but no one cares what they're really doing. Okay. What was the point? What were you saying a bit earlier?
Just going back to that lady when she said about. I mean, she works for the council.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that she's got the honesty to say that the council needs to value people more. That's what they need other people in the council. But it's not just about housing. When I mean about social conscience, I mean that the council are allowing developers to knock down the centre, to split up communities, leave the community without nowhere to go. The working class in the area, where are they going to go? When they're splitting up, there's a lot of people that use the centre with mental health, which is high on the agenda at the moment. Everyone talks about people with mental health, but they don't really care about people. Where are they going to go? This is their life in this centre to some people, but they're just allowing it all to happen and splitting it up, and so that is a social conscience that they should have about everything, not just about housing.
So a social conscience about the whole community. Everyone's looked after.
About the youth, and rightly so, because they are neglected in Southwark, and they do need. But what about the elderly, over 60s? There's nothing. Southwark don't care about the elderly.
Right.
Do they?
Okay.
This borough than any other borough I've heard of.
Okay.
Loads.
Okay.
Give me
your
contact details. I'll send you the information.
No, loads.
Okay. Well, Lynn, do you want to maybe just give those details? But you had something to say, Adrian. What was it?
Did I?
What were you saying?
I was just muttering something there.
I mean, do people have faith that really? Because I feel that people don't necessarily have a faith in Southwark. Or there's a trust. We talked about trust earlier on. Do we?
People don't have faith in politicians, because anytime you see a politician on TV, they're asked a difficult question, they just avoid it and come out with some bullshit statistics to avoid the question. So what's the point of asking difficult questions?
Okay.
I'm curious just to know how many of you guys have met a local councillor ever, or kind of your local MP. So you do kind of. And what's your experience been? How would you like to see that relationship improve?
They're asking about change. They don't do nothing about it. As long as they're fine, they see homeless people on the floor, they don't care about them. They care about money, themselves. As long as they're alright, they don't care about anything. They're asking about the change. What are they going to change? They don't change nothing. They're asking just so that they have on their image of how to say, we are asking young kids, but really and truly you're not. Just think about yourself.
Yeah, like there's no hope. Like when it comes to politicians, there's no hope. Like me and my friend, we came to meet in Theresa May, and we tried to ask her questions, but she just avoids them. Like, and even like when you look at the news and what she's doing, it's not like she's contributing to what we need and that. So yeah, like, there's no faith. There's no faith.
Sorry. Excuse me. What question were you asking them?
Like, I don't even remember. It was a while back still.
Okay, so, but generally a lack of faith in politics and politicians.
We had a councillor come to speak to us in uni last week, and someone was asking him a question about, there's a certain, I don't know where it is, but there's an estate that's been redeveloped, and all the housing has already been sold to like overseas developers in like Asia, so they're all going to be sold off for like well over the price that like affordable housing should be. And someone was asking, why is there no affordable housing here? And he came back with, 3 years ago we didn't know there was going to be a housing crisis. Well, what's that all about? There was a housing crisis 3 years ago. How did they not know there was going to be one now? They've just sold it all off to get money.
Okay, all right, give us final thoughts before you go. Just quickly go around. Like,
we need more of a voice.
How is that going to happen?
I think they should, like, I remember, like, one politician came to our school throughout the whole school. I think more of that needs to happen more regularly.
Okay, so going more to schools and having more conversations.
You'd be surprised about what young people are thinking these days. Like, someone can just wake up one day and invent something that will change everyone's life. They just need to listen to young people. Like, they'd be surprised about the benefits of what we can do. Okay. They underestimate us.
Okay. Don't underestimate young people. Have faith and trust. Final thought?
I think young people should be more involved with what happens in politics. So, for example, voting and stuff. And
okay.
Unity.
Community.
Everyone should like communicate with each other and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that everyone just needs to unite instead of like just like fighting, innit? That's it. Yeah, that's it really. Everyone needs to come together.
Other people have said that, but I mean, I guess the next question from that is, how do you get people to be more nice? How do you get that more of a nice sense?
To be honest, I don't even know. I can't even answer that question right now.
Okay, I mean, it's a big one, but you know, we've got to ask the big questions here. Hello. Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this.
Let me know when you're ready to.
It could be soon. You're doing a great job there.
Okay.
Don't underestimate. Okay, so what we're talking about at the moment is, let's just go, maybe it's just the time to flick through some of the visualizations that Rick has done. So this is kind of old people having the kind of bad view of young people in my day. Are we all right to flick through now, Rick? This is, I guess, this is just being obsessed with money, I suppose, isn't it? Evil people obsessed with money. This is slave to money, I suppose. This is, I thought this was just like people were just hanging out in London, but actually they're leaving London. Or being shepherded out of London by the racist fire brigades. That's not my words, by the way. This is Muppet politicians. This is Jim Morrison as a spiritual leader for Elephant and Castle. And this is clearing away the old for the new, and that's actually backwards. And you know, Rick, I always like to go forwards because it makes much more sense than going backwards. Anyway, but there we go. That's the visualizations we've got so far. I should just say this is Talkaoke. It's a free-form talk show. Everyone's welcome to come and sit down on the table of chat. Stay there, Nazmeen, because you're doing a great job. So everyone stay around the table. So we've got Hadrian. What's your name?
I'm Jackie.
Jackie, welcome. And we got
Elam.
And I'm Mikey. And
I'm Nazmin.
Still. So, I mean, where do we want to go with this conversation? It's kind of up to you where you want to take it. We could talk about.
I'm kind of interested to know what's going to happen to this centre, because for the last 20 years, I swear they've been banging on about it being like knocked down and redeveloped, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon.
Is that something that you want to see? Or is it
Not really, because I think it's quite a nice spot for like immigrant communities. Like, you know, since over the years coming here, I've seen how like Colombians have kind of set themselves up, and the Polish people have set themselves up.
Snack you're eating there?
No, this is Pret Manger.
Okay. So it's a place where you've got, I guess, a diversity of. Come and join in. What do you think about this? Should they be knocking this down? Should they be actually? We had a guy earlier on called Harry, I believe, who was saying that this actually needs to be not knocked down, but actually just looked after and actually done up a little bit, because there's actually nothing wrong with this centre. You agree with that as well? Nothing wrong with it. And he was actually saying that they're deliberately running it down so that...
It's like with the NHS, they're going to underfund it until it's, oh look, it's shit now, let's privatise it because it's got no money. But it's got no money because they've underfunded it. They're going to underfund this place, so it's falling down, and they'll be, let's get rid of it. But this needs to stay, because it's a really unique shopping centre in that the majority of the shops are independent businesses. They're not big brands. And the money's like staying local. It's not big brands, and the money's going back to London or Monaco where they're not paying tax.
Right, okay, so it's a unique shopping centre. It should be kept here. So we've got Ellen, we've got Nazmeen, Jackie, and Hadrian and Mikey. What's your name?
Janet.
Janet, you're agreeing with this? This should just be done up rather than knocked down?
Yes, because it's not a shopping centre. It's not just a shopping centre with a building and pounds. It's a community. So when you take away the building, the fabric, you split up the community. That's what it's about. It's not, it's not. People see it as a shopping centre. It is a shopping centre, but it's also community, and people are not realising that when the fabric's gone, that's community that you're destroying.
I mean, it goes back to this point you were making earlier on, that are we valuing community enough? Is it being valued? We've got a new face, so what's your name?
Audrey.
Audrey, we've got Hadrian, we've got Jackie, we've got Nazmeen, we've got Janet, we've got Ellen and Mikey. Most people are saying around the table that this shopping centre, Janet was saying it's not just a shopping centre, it's a community space, and Hadrian was saying it's a place where small businesses can thrive, that keeps money in the local area. Have you got any feelings about this centre?
Well, I used to live in this area for quite a long time. I grew up around this area.
Right.
The shopping centre is something that we always come to, and has all the little facilities that we would like. And it's good for the community because it's local. So
you kind of agree? Jackie, have you got a view on this?
I appreciate the fact that it's not a generic shopping centre, that it's not all the same shops that you see everywhere else and every other high street, but I do recognise that there is a need for some improvement around here. And also, if these businesses are going to compete, then they've got to be able to offer the same kind of shopping experience that some of the more well-resourced shopping centres are able to offer.
And I know that they were supposed to re-modernise it. I don't know if it's going through. They did have the modernisation that they were supposed to do. I don't know what they're doing about that. It would be good.
So you think it could do with some modernisation?
Yes, it could.
Okay.
I think we all recognise it needs some improvement, but not to the extent where it's all, then we lose what we also have. So I was saying to the other lady, we should just enhance what we've already got. So there'll be the familiarity of some shops, there'll be new better shops for people, and it's just improved in that way. So then you keep all the community happy. Because, I think there's going to be a big issue with when this centre comes down or empty, for the 5 or 6 years it takes to rebuild the new, the new one. Where is everyone going to go? And people knock this centre, but people want to realise one day they're going to wake up and then they're going to be nowhere to go. For 6 years, it's going to be a building site. It's going to be gone, and people are going to miss it because there won't be nothing around to replace it.
Do you
realise that, Jackie? That there's 5 or 6 years, there's going to be nothing. And this is about, where the council or anyone is not actually thinking that through.
So this is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. At the moment, we're talking about this shopping centre. Are we valuing what we've got here enough? What's going to happen to the businesses that are here when it? Grab the mic. Or sit down. In fact, have a seat. Yeah. So we've got Janet, we've got Nazmin, we've got Jackie, we've got Audrey, Hadrian, and Mikey. What's her name?
Carol. I think it should stay.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be anything here for people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
They're not going to replace it, are they, with anything?
Yeah.
And I think they should change their mind and keep it here.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be out of work.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything at all.
So, I mean,
I think it's sad.
Could it be spruced up? Because people around the table have said,
well, painting, they could paint it.
It just needs a lick of paint. It doesn't need a whole new building.
That's right.
It does need more than a lick of paint. We have to acknowledge that. But
what sort of things do you think it does need?
Well,
it needs to change, but the shops don't need to go. There's no need to knock the whole thing down and build this great new glass building there, like the designs on the websites and things. And it's got. I've seen on a news article on that. It's like this new glass building. It's got all these big brand shops in it. But where are all these local shops going to go? All these independent businesses. Where are they going to go? It's going to be gentrified. Can I just
ask, because you? Sorry, we've kind of like landed on your patch. But have you got a view on this? Have they talked to you about what's happening with this shopping centre? And is there a plan for your business, how it's going to carry on? Come and tell us about it. Yeah, we'll keep an eye.
Yeah, you know, before I told to her, we don't know yet what the plan is going on this year. And I am here 13 years. I'm doing a small business, but now the big business they want to kill the small business. So we are worried about these things. This happened. Since morning is no business now going here. And now they're making a tall building for the rich peoples only. The middle class people, and they're going down more poor. So we are worried about this.
Okay, so
The thing is, like places like this shopping centre, it serves a large part of the community. I mean, when you look at the shops, it's busy. Look at that cafe; it's full. It's always been full, you know. So, and I think that it's like them sort of wanting to redevelop it is just going to erase all of those communities, and it's going to further make those communities feel as though their voices aren't heard. I mean. That's what I feel. And like you said, it's a typical gentrification plan. Just let a place run down, sit back, don't invest into it until it looks so terrible, and then they can just be like, look, the place looks awful. We need to get this off our streets. It's just, they've done this all over London, all Hackney, you know, it's just,
Okay.
You know, this everybody talks about diversity and multiculturalism, and the centre, this shopping centre, has one of the richest diversity and multiculturalism. We're all one. We don't see, you know, we all blend in, and people's different religions, races. It's not a problem here. That is all going to be lost. It's just going to be all lost because they're not going to represent that diversity in the new area. And you know, for the Mayor of London, he needs to be coming down here and having a cup of tea and a coffee and seeing his diversity that he keeps talking about, and then he wants to split it up and just ruin it.
So once again, it's kind of talk about diversity from the Mayor of London, but this is actually diversity in action here in the shopping centre. Carol.
They're going to spoil it. It's not going to be very good here. As that lady said. Get it off our streets. It looks horrible. It don't. All it wants is freshening up.
Okay.
Streets, because it don't fit in with all the tall buildings and the block and the millionaires that are coming in. That's why they want to get it off the streets. But we're still going to be here. The community is going to be made up of working class, social class. And as I keep saying, the council is a social landlord. They have you should have a social conscience.
Okay.
And it's a disgrace.
All right, Adrian.
I'll say if they're going to let a load of rich people buy all the houses, and the rich people want to look at something like this where there's lower class people coming in, going and doing their shopping. They don't want them near them.
Okay, so you think it's actually rich people are actually
it's a class thing. Everything's a class thing.
Poorer people.
It's like everything else. It's a class thing.
Yeah.
It's just rich people wanting to get rid of poor people and push them somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah.
This stallholder was just telling me this is the oldest shopping centre in London. Can you believe that? I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's actually history here as well.
It's history.
They have a history here, but this shopping centre, this is because you know, this is the centre of London.
Yeah.
And if all over the world the people comes here to visit here, first visit here, but they have what they looking, what we're showing to them.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, do you think this is a good example, in a way, as a centre of London, as something that shows, as you were saying, the diversity of London? Should we be celebrating this a bit more as something in the centre of London?
We should celebrate it more. You know, this was the first shopping centre in the country, I think, in the 1960s. It was some architectural concept and everything else. But it has got a very, very rich diversity and multicultural and everything else. And it serves a number of communities which are all going to be dispersed and lost. And Southwark Council, considering they pride themselves on this diversity when it suits them, don't give a care about it. They don't care, do they? They don't care.
Okay. Sorry, because I think there's a point over here.
You know, it's good because look how packed that is.
Yeah.
And it's packed upstairs. I think it's very good here, and we're going to miss it.
I mean, do you agree with Janet and sorry, we didn't get your name, but what's your name?
Mohammed.
Mohammed, that we're not celebrating this enough?
Perhaps we're not. No, perhaps we're not celebrating it enough. Perhaps we should do it more.
Yeah.
Celebrate it more.
People are celebrating it. It's the council that aren't celebrating it. It's the council that want to get rid of it so they can get a bit of money from, I can't remember the name of the construction company that's getting all the money from building this new shopping centre, but it's them who the council are celebrating.
Give us a final thought.
I think they should change their mind and leave it as it is.
Okay. So Southwark Council could potentially celebrate this more. People are celebrating it.
Our diversity. We're very proud here of our diversity and our multiculturalism. We're very proud of it. You know, I think people have worked hard to be tolerant of each other, and we've worked hard at that, and it's helped people that don't sort of necessarily tolerate those views and everything. It's really we do celebrate it. We're very proud of our centre. We're proud of the people in it. These businesses, going back to the businesses, some of them have served, well, all of them have, but some of them have served this community. I was telling that lady from Public Health, they've served this community for 40 years, some of them. 30 years are still here. You know, they've kept their prices low, they've struggled, they've given up. We wouldn't have had nowhere to go if it weren't for some of these people in the centre. So we're proud of them. We're proud of all our traders and proud of everybody. You know.
So it's about actually amplifying that. People are proud of it and people are celebrating it, but is that going far enough? Is it going to the council?
I don't think there's anyone in the community who would say, I'm pro the gentrification of the shopping centre, redevelopment of the shopping centre is a good idea. It's the council who are pro the idea because they're getting some money off the developers. They need to stop listening to developers with money and listen to the community.
So just one thing, Mikey, when you came earlier, you said to me downstairs is a right old state in the car park area. So it's like, I mean, most probably we don't see that because we're only up here, but he was saying to me when he arrived.
It's very smelly down there.
It's very smelly, not nice down there at all. It's not welcoming and it's not able to be used by many people. Downstairs, it's really bad. He said there's rotten food down there, it's not nice.
Where are the cleaners? Surely that's the job of the council to put some cleaners here, but they're not putting cleaners here, so they can run it down and people won't want to come here, and then they can justify redeveloping it.
Okay, so is it part of a...
There's going to be issues with the centre, there's going to be issues and things like that, but that's not a reason to pull it down, is it? Is that a reason to pull it down and start again? You just improve just sort out the issues and make them better and improve on them and get them sorted. That's that sort of issues. It doesn't mean that it's all got to come down and the whole community's got to be dispersed.
Okay, so, I mean, come and have a seat. This is Talkaoke, it's a free-form talk show. And when we're talking about this centre, do you think this centre should be redeveloped? Are we celebrating what we've got here enough? Are we kind of sending the message out? Is Southwark Council celebrating what we've got? And the answer, yeah.
I said to the other lady, I think people like me and some of the other people in this area feel like I've lived in the area for 30 years, and we feel like we're not welcome in the area by Southwark Council or the developers. We're not welcome. They only want to welcome white middle class millionaires that go in these buildings, and we're not welcome. That's what I feel in my own area. I feel like we're not, and they just want to kick us out because we're not good enough to be in the area. And a lot of people feel like that. Do you all feel like that?
Okay,
Do you all feel like that?
Let's go around the table and find out.
Ask them if they feel that they're welcome in here. We welcome anyone to the centre, but we don't feel that the council welcome us.
Okay. Do the council people feel unwelcome? They've lived, like Janet lived here 30 years.
More affordable housing, but they don't care about that, do they?
Yeah. Okay. Come and sit down. Stay involved in this. What's your name?
I've got places to be, but have a nice day, people.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, you're not the first to have said it. A lot of people have said they need to have more affordable housing, but I want to just deal with
more social housing, not affordable. Let's forget this word affordable. This word affordable has become a word to replace social housing. Let's call a spade a spade. It's social housing we need, not affordable. Right? Or affordable for all is social housing. That is what we need, as well as affordable for the other people. Because if Southwark Council think that we've got affordable housing around here, all they're building, then they're very, very out of touch.
On that point of white working class, I mean, I think I have to agree with that point that there is that erasure of the white working class voice. I mean, they don't like working class people in general, whatever race, but I think that sort of silencing of that white working class voice, it kind of creates more sort of like animosity. Like, I do think that a lot of white working class people feel that it creates that whole, they sort of look at other immigrant communities as though they're getting more because their voice isn't being heard. What they don't realise is that I think all working class people are disliked, but I don't know, I just think there's there is like a sorry, it is an intentional thing to silence that white working class voice. So
white working class are silenced. Come on, have a seat on the table, chat. Where are you from? Spain.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Vamos. Siéntarse.
On this side, Audrey, have you got a view on it? Any other things that are being said?
Well, when you look at it, all the changes, they're not thinking about the younger generation either. Because some of them want to do their little businesses and all that, and they come to places like this to make a start. And because of all the changes, they just don't know what to do. And this place has been there from I was a child. So it's somewhere that I'm used to come in and even sit down and have a chat with friends.
It's
and
a
all
kind
that.
of starting point
It
as well
is.
for
It
businesses.
is for businesses. For small businesses. So I think they should just sort of do something about their place so that people can stay around.
Enhance it rather than knock it down.
Yes.
Come and have a seat on the table chat. We're talking about there's a few things on the table. There's a lot of in a way lack of trust that Southwark Council are actually representing the people that have lived here for a long time, and there's a feeling that they are that the people that have lived here a long time are being pushed out in favour of richer people. There's also a question about this shopping centre. Should this, I think all the people around the table are saying that this shopping centre should be preserved and actually just enhanced rather than replaced. And it's part of a general feeling that I guess the community, as you said, Janet, the community is not really valued. So that's what we're talking about at the moment. We've got Hadrian, we've got Audrey, we've got Nazmeen, we've got Janet, Ellen, I'm Mikey. What's your name?
My name is Jordi.
Was it?
Jordi, like people from Newcastle.
Yeah, Jordi. So that's what we're talking about at the moment.
I don't know if you've got a view on that, or do you want to just listen to what other people say?
Well, I haven't got a chance to listen to everyone yet, but my view is I'm an immigrant as well. I've been here in this area about over 10 years, and I've seen it change a lot. So that's a fact. It's a fact it changed. The point is, I guess for new people coming, if they haven't the chance to compare how it was before, they might see everything good and everything nice. And I guess if you lived 10 years ago and you had a little world which now has disappeared and you have to adapt to a new world, you might find it more challenging. But I personally like the change.
You like the change?
Yeah, but I think you need to preserve part of it. So change for the hell of changing is not enough. You need to evolve, progress, not just change.
So it's about evolving rather than just change for the sake of change. Okay.
It's about change for everyone, not just the people who can afford it.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, do you think? I mean, you just because Geordie's only just arrived here, just explain that a little bit more. I know we've been talking.
So basically, the way everything's going is that everything the government and councils do is to better lives for people who can bring some money into the area, rather than people who've been here for a long time but don't necessarily have as much money. And that's not right. It should be about communities, not just money, basically, pound signs.
Okay. I mean, there's certainly a feeling. I mean, look, here we've got like Westfield Shopping Centre in Elephant and Castle that Rick is visualising, and that's I think what people don't want to see here. We've got a new face to say. What's your name?
Jesse Kujo.
Jesse?
Yeah.
We got Audrey, we got Hadrian, we got Geordie, Nasmeen, Janet and Ellen. At the moment we're sort of talking about, is it just all about the money? Is it, I mean, especially with the council, are they just seeing the pound signs and not seeing the value of community? That's where we are right now. I don't know where we want to take this discussion.
There's like a Pret a Manger open across the road, and I like Pret a Manger, but why can't we have a Pret and a sundial thing? Why can't they sort of coexist together?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I guess they are here.
I mean, but for how long? You know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I really like that visual actually, because on the screen, because it oftentimes, like living in Hackney, it does kind of feel like when gentrification happens, these big buildings just come in, and the architecture doesn't really fit into the area very well. It's as if they plonk this like idea of what a gentrified building should look like, and sometimes it's so like, it's just so imposing on the.
So it's actually also the way that the buildings look.
It's just
they don't look like the.
Exactly. There's no attempt to sort of make it sort of fit into the architecture that already exists. So basically you can kind of see those buildings anywhere around the world you go to. And you go to a city, you're gonna see like the same kind of buildings. So
okay. Geordie, have you got?
Well, I guess what we're talking about here is that somehow we feel that or some people feel that the identity has been lost. And everything gets standardized. And to the point that you won't know where you are because all the buildings look the same. And I guess this is not incompatible with progress. You could build buildings that maintain the same identity than the existing ones, rather than just to use them as a reference from New York or anywhere else. I think there is an issue about the many big buildings, tall buildings, that they have no character. But I think in the end, whatever happens, character of the people will prevail. And that will, sooner or later, the people will make the place theirs.
So the character of the people will prevail.
Yeah, I think because we are in a transition, we haven't done it yet. We are in the process of seeing the new change.
So it's like a kind of growing pain.
Yeah, I think history of humankind is always like that. There's always been change and people adapting and then making the new place theirs. So that will happen here as well.
Okay. What do people think about that? Is this just a kind of growing pain? Is it that people, the strength of the community will prevail no matter what happens?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Well, it means that you might change the buildings, you might change the structures and the parks, but the community will be built by the people, and the people will build the shops they need and the parks, and then gradually they will modify it, unless they change constantly.
If the building goes and the shops change, the area, like the centre changes, and it's a big glass building with top shop and next in it, then it's not going to be the same community. People won't come here because they.
So it won't be the same.
Yeah, it won't be the same as when you come in and go to Sundial and get your. Like whatever food you're getting in there and say, oh cheers, like, because you know the person working behind the counter, it's just some person working in next to a badge on.
Okay.
It's took a long time to build up this community, you know, the diversity and the richness of that. So it's going to take a long time, that's going to be destroyed. The issue is, with the new town centre, it won't be affordable for people like me, people that use the centre. I mean, some businesses you can get a cup of tea for 80p. How are you going to do that in the new town centre? So they won't go. My fear is then they'll be isolated, they won't go. The people with mental health, the people that come here for the social aspect, they come here for the social aspect, meet people, just have a bit of therapy. To them it's therapy. They meet a friend, have a cup of coffee, and it's a social thing as well as their routine and their shopping. So they will be lost, they'll be isolated, their conditions may get worse, they'll deteriorate, and people just, you know, it will have a big impact on people. And you can't just say that
it's
well,
part of the transition.
No, you just can't say that. And this is the issue of the council. They say that nonsense. They say, oh, you know, we've all got to move on. And, but for some, it will be really hard, and they don't understand that. Would they like it if they're just sitting there one day and some people will have to move out the area. They'll have to move schools. They'll stay away from their support. You know, it's not just easy to transition your life like that.
I mean, Jesse, let me bring you in because you.
I think Southwark is more of a diverse area, and what I'm seeing is that the area is becoming more elite. In the sense that they're bringing these new mansions, they're making the place more expensive. It's an area where most of us have lived most of our lives, and it's the environment should depict whatever we have here. As we necessarily have to have the sort of shopping environment that depicts the people. I mean, why I can see all these big new flats that are being built, they are not built for the poor but for the rich. So if they want us to actually live in this area, they have to do things which would actually meet the needs of the community. And I also think
what are the needs of the community?
Like the lady said earlier on, is an area where you could get cheaper things to buy. You could just go to the market, go to the coffee shop, get something very cheap. But when all these big shops come over here, we can't afford it, and most of us are not working. So how do we manage? How do we live in the area? I mean, it means they want to force us out of the area because we cannot compete with the rich in the area.
Okay. I'll come to you in a sec.
Respond to that transition thing. I think people don't realise, maybe yourself don't, sir, you know, when the centre comes down, it's going to be a building site for 6-7 years possibly, maybe longer, maybe shorter. There's going to be nowhere to go for the community. So how do we, this is the thing, they're not giving a good transition period. They could keep the centre, phase it, maybe half of it, and then do it something like that. By those 5 or 6 years, some people will start shopping elsewhere, they won't come back in the area, they'll go somewhere else. Elderly, and I'm talking to this lady again about elderly and disabled, people don't seem to realise, they're not going to be able to just get on a bus. They live locally, they want to go locally and shop locally, which we should support local businesses and local traders. So there won't be anything for that time. So where's the transition period? Do you understand that?
The transition itself, it is going to make things impossible for certain people.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think you're right. I think my point was more not referring to how it is done. It's referring to whatever happens in the end, humans will always prevail in the end. But obviously, not everybody will be able to cope in the same way. I think you're right that there are particular people that will suffer more than this.
Is there a way to make the transition less painful?
Well, I guess I'm sure there is. I don't know which one, but I think what the lady was suggesting, Janet was suggesting, of making it gradual rather than less abrupt. That obviously is a way to help. Yeah.
Sorry, Janet, I just want to bring in Hadrian because you wanted to say something.
I was going back to what you're saying about what does the community need. It doesn't just need places where the community can go like this. It needs stuff where they can go to get the stuff they do need in general. Like, so they say they're building social housing, wherever these mystical houses are. If they are building them, are they then building the infrastructure around them? Like, are they building new schools? Are they building new health centres?
Yeah.
Because if they're building all this new social housing, bringing new people in, where are their children going to go to school? Where are they going to go to like get a doctor's appointment without waiting 6 weeks for a doctor's appointment?
Okay.
I was going to say, I suppose people's anxieties surrounding the shopping centre stems from things that happened to the Aylesbury estate just down the road?
Yeah.
You know, and how the people were treated there was just so appalling. And yes, the communities were split up. You know, families have been moved outside London, to outer parts of London. They were treated awfully. So I think that people don't really have much faith in the council because of what happened on that estate as well.
How can we improve that? How can we improve that for local people? You know, like, what do you think we can do?
Well, consultation. I don't know if I assume that consultations have happened with the community, but I also think as well, like, maybe promising like the different users of this centre that they will have a home when they come back, because I think the same way those people a lot of people weren't allowed to move back to that estate is the same way people feel that they're not going to be allowed to move back. So actually having it in writing, in concrete, that a lot of the places here are going to be able to come back, and sort of incorporating them in the plans, because oftentimes these gentrified plans, there's no incorporation of the people who actually live here. It tends to be a certain type of person in the imagery. So
let me just bring
I find it, you know, I have a lot of respect for that council officer, but I find this is the trouble, is it? You know, council, like, you want to ask us now how we can improve it and what you can do about that. When we actually tell the council, they don't want to listen. It's not just you know, it's other officers, politicians maybe, don't want to listen. They just
give us
don't.
some examples of that. I know it's probably rehashing.
We've had consultation about this. There's a planning application at the moment. We've had consultation. You know, they'll spin the consultation. They'll manipulate it. Some people don't want the centre, some people do. They'll manipulate it. They'll just spin it how they want it. And people don't have any faith in consultation. And they just don't listen, because they've got their mindset on what they want to do, and they're going to do it regardless. You know, so. And plus, we're not actually paid. We pay officers and politicians to make those changes for us and make sure that the improvements are good. It's not really for us to. We can do consultation, but nobody's listening at the moment about the elephant.
Okay, Jesse.
I think what the council can do in terms of maybe the lady talking about the Aylesbury estate, the place going to be demolished, and how to get the people back into the community. What the council can possibly do is, for instance, they are building new properties around this area. Instead of taking the people far away out of their environment, they need to look for accommodation closer to them, because what is happening basically is that, for instance, if one block is going to be demolished, they are building some other one very close to the area. What they can do is to move those people to the closer new properties. So that they don't have to move out of the area.
Keep people in the area.
Keep the people in the area, because when you get used to an area, it's difficult for you to you reconnect, and there are a lot of things that you don't get used to when you move to new areas.
Says that they don't want the people in the area. They don't want certain people in the area. So the officer that's just said, how can we improve that? That's what we say. Keep them in the area. But they don't. If they don't want the people, they're not going to do it, are they? It's not. You know, no disrespect to you. You're different. That is, they don't want. We don't feel they want the people in the area. They're trying to squeeze us out. Certain communities, not everybody. Certain communities they want out of the area. We don't fit in. We don't fit in.
Let me bring Audrey into this. Have you got a view on this?
Yes, most time when they remodernise areas, the people that has lived there for years, they want you to move out. They don't move you back. You get used to an area, you get used to your neighbours and the way the facility is run. I don't think it's fair for them to move you out. It is somewhere that either your children grow up and you have neighbours and all the communities together. And that's what they tried to do, because I live in Clapham, and most of the people that I knew has pushed out.
Right.
Because when you come to Clapham, all you're seeing is restaurants and club and that for the upper class. What about the working class people that lived there for years and helped to build the area up?
Okay.
They shift off.
Nothing to say, no? I want to just put a call out to anyone that's sitting around. Come and join in this conversation.
Do people think that there are some benefits to sort of like, if you want the modernisation or some of these changes that have happened, are there benefits? Has anyone seen any benefits?
No?
Yeah.
For me, I see the benefits of the place becoming more commercialized and the fact that it becomes a more nicer area to live in. But what I fear is that it's going to be for the rich and the elite, because most of the low class people, the sick, the disabled, cannot move into such properties, even though those properties are meant to be a mixed type of properties, because I understand most properties which are being built should have maybe shared ownership, I mean, you should have normal tenants living in. It should be of a mixed society. However, you just see only the elites going over there, those who can afford to.
I think if there are any benefits, it is for some people in the community, but the benefits, the detriments and the non-benefits of it far outweigh any benefits, because at the moment, there's been no benefits, and losing this centre is not going to be of any benefit to anybody. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says, it's not going to be of any benefit to anybody. I can't see anybody benefiting, only the developers. No, the developers will benefit from it in their bank accounts. That's the only benefits that people seem to be getting is money.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I think it's really good what they've done to the road up there, because it was so annoying having to walk underneath the tunnel. So that development is really good. But yeah, the road, how they've restructured the roads.
They made it safer for pedestrians.
Yeah, it's just better, so, because it was annoying having to walk on. I mean, the tunnels were nice. I mean, the artwork in the tunnels were really nice and stuff. But, it is easier.
Do you feel safer? Do you feel safer with the roads on top?
Yeah, and I will admit.
I mean, I wouldn't say I feel any safe. I didn't feel like dangerous, but I just remember having to run to university when I was late, and I'd always have to go underneath, so it would add an extra 5 minutes to my commute. So now, if I was still at university, it would be a lot quicker.
Okay.
So yeah.
I do feel safe as well, I agree. And I remember I hated the roundabout and I hated the tunnels, and even if nothing happened to me, I just was afraid to use them. And now it's more open, and that's for me, which I'm a pedestrian and I walk a lot, and it feels safer. But that obviously has nothing to do with the flood situation and where people is going to be moving out. It's just a cosmetic element.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the cosmetic elements have got better. Hello, come and take a seat. This is Talkaoke at the moment. Is this area improving? Is really the sort of question that we're asking.
I mean, we don't get, what's his name, Nick Ferrari or something. Why can't we have Nick Ferrari or something? He'd get it all going.
I guess. Yes,
Are you an Elephant Castle version of Nick Ferrari?
Well, I guess so. I mean,
get in, we ain't got Nick Ferrari.
What can I do?
It's good. Well, he won't come in, Nick Ferrari. No one will come in.
Yeah. Well, we can put a call out to Nick Ferrari. That's the guy.
Is that oftentimes in these communities, Hackney here, Hackney where I'm from, basically people always think that the people who are living here don't want to see change. We want it to stay looking dilapidated, but no, oftentimes people here, we are fighting for change. We're coming together, forming groups, trying to lobby the council to make improvements. I'm sure that people who use this centre probably do complain about the parking underground. There's no way that people don't complain about the parking, but whether or not they're listened to, that's the thing. People want it to be spruced up. People want it to be modernised, so...
And what is it about then?
It's just, I just think people are not listened to. Just like what you were saying before.
Yeah.
The council have their plan. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The council have their plan, and they know that running it down means that it will give them an excuse to get the developers in. That is just as simple as that, really. Sad to say it, but...
Okay.
privately owned, so it's not the council's run it down. The council haven't run
It's
down the
privately,
centre.
it's privately owned. So okay.
But the council, you can't blame the council for that one, to be truthful.
Okay, so I mean, should we?
The council do have the opportunity to not approve the plans for the shopping centre.
Okay, so it's a planning thing. We're gonna keep this conversation going, but I'm actually going to have a little break, and we're not going to get in Nick Ferrari, but instead we're going to get in. Well, Robert, yeah, we could get Robert Heston, but are you off?
Yeah, I'm off.
Hadrian, give us a final thought.
Just stop gentrification.
Full stop. Is there any way it can be good, or you think it's
gentrification is only good for hipsters, really, and councils and so on to get a £4 organic coffee? It's not good for communities.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to exit the table. We're going to keep the conversation going. Ellen, you're going to take this over. So, are you happy to do that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump out and. Give us a if everyone's going to go, let's just quickly get final thoughts. Sorry, Adam, I was hoping that you'd have a crowd here.
Well, it seems to me, I haven't really listened to the entire thing, but the final thought seems listen is the key word. If people listen, whoever makes decisions to those that complain, things can be solved. If you don't listen, you already start from the wrong
So it's really about listening.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse, a final thought?
I wish the best for Southwark Council.
Say that again?
I wish the best for Southwark Council in whatever they're doing.
Do you feel like they're listening to people? Could they listen better?
They could listen better, and I think this is one of the forums that we could use to get engaged with the locals. I mean, I was just passing by and I was invited to this place, and it would have been good if I knew exactly what they were going to be talking about, that I could have actually made up my mind or thought of certain things, but I think it's one of the good things that they're doing.
But perhaps a starting point. Lynn, have you got a final thought for this session?
Yes, I think that basically I know that Southwark is trying to sort of like make improvements, and I think sometimes it's how we spread that information to the local community. And it's like, I think, like we've talked today a little bit about free swim and gym, because we are concerned about people's health. Today it's like it's a collaboration of different departments from the council. So it's like the public health, communities team. We're all sort of like interested in making sure that the local community is listened to, and it's a shame really that they don't think that we do want to listen. But I think this is a move in the right direction.
I mean, I guess the only way really to sort of change that is to keep listening, and then responding, and eventually people will get the feeling they're listened to.
I mean, I definitely think like things like this, putting it into the community can really help make people feel like they're part of that change, part of the conversation. I mean, I think I agree with what you're saying. Like people, whenever change happens, they don't feel that they're incorporated in that. And I think graphic design has a lot to do with making people feel, definitely. So for example, like the images that you use, does it reflect the community? When you're having the hoardings for the new developments, does it have a couple of brown people in there? Let's just be real. I mean, in Hackney, the hoardings for my estate that I moved back into, there was no black people in there. There wasn't even any children.
The vision for that building.
There you go. So
by the developers
didn't incorporate. Basically, it's saying that the future of this area, it doesn't incorporate you.
So it's also about how it's presented and the vision. Jack, have you got a final thought for this session?
I think that everybody that I've spoken to so far really wants the Elephant and Castle shopping centre to stay in some form. Everybody recognises improvements can be made. It's not perfect, but everybody feels that it's part of the community and that they stand more of a chance of bumping into somebody that they know and stopping and passing the time of day than they would do in a large, generic, faceless shopping centre like there are in lots of other places.
Okay, well I'm going to just wrap this up for now. We are going to start up again very shortly. But thanks everyone for taking part. Thanks to Fabio, and maybe we should just quickly flick through. Rick, can we flick through the images? Yeah. Okay, so this is all about is the community being swept away? Oh, okay. This is the first one. This is like the are we replacing the old with the new? And what is the aesthetic? So this is, could someone like Jim Morrison, obviously not Jim Morrison because he's not around anymore, be a kind of charismatic leader that would give people more of a kind of sense of the value of humanity? Can we have more of an event space or community centre here to have that sense of community? Are politicians Muppets? This is the mass exodus from London. I don't know why is that a fire engine? Why is there a fire engine there? Anyway, the fire engine is there. Then slave to money. Are we slave to money? And this is young people being demonised by older people. This is just like the dollar signs, a big pile of cash, all about the money. This is the Westfield in Elephant and Castle, and this is sweeping away the community. So thanks to Rick and thanks to Fabio. We're going to just take a break. We'll be back soon. So thanks everyone.